Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Give me over 5.5.
That is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road.
So you're getting plus 130 here.
I mean, how can you go against Tusky?
Exactly.
Join Sports by the Book at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Good morning and happy holidays, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, December 23rd. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Please hit that subscribe button as we've been talking about all December long, trying to reach a goal here by the end of the year. Thank you for everybody who already has. Thank you for everybody who's watching live. Jump in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. If there are any college basketball games or hockey that you want to hear about, please put them in the chat because we will give our best bets, but not necessarily dive into every single game. Couple hockey games I'm very much looking forward to, and that is also our poll question for the day. 13 games on the ice, and then we have a little break until the 27th, but we've got a lot to get to today. As we always do on Tuesdays, we will look at the NFL lines, opening lines, current lines, and we're going to talk about scenarios, right? Who needs to win, and then what the matchup looks like for the week following in week 18. I'm Alex White alongside Ryan McCormick. As always, Ryan, how are you doing today? Let's do a quick recap from yesterday. What did you think of all the action?
Well, my board did have 2 successful picks. Juwan Jennings anytime touchdown and the under in the Blue Jackets Kings game. Sky Moore did not find the end zone. He caught his only target of the game, and then caught a kickoff that could have gone out of bounds and didn't see much playing time after that. So Sky Moore, it was a long shot, 13-1. So, but ended up positive on the day. Got lucky in the NHL. First, we'll recap that one. NHL favorites went 2-2 straight up yesterday. A puck line was covered in all 4 games, 2 of which were reverse, and totals were 1-3, 3 unders, 1 over. And then moving to the hardwood, we've got the NBA favorites yesterday, went 6-0-1. The Mavericks and Pelicans game was a pick here at the South Point. That's we've got a little tie there. The Pelicans ended up winning that one at home. So depending on the price you got, ended up 6-0-1 straight up, 4-2-1 against the spread, and totals were 1-6, 6 unders there in the NBA. In college basketball, men's college basketball specifically, favorites. It's a great day to play them on the money line, not so much against the spread. 40-2 straight up, 20-21-1 against the spread. Totals were 21-20-1. Shout out to UTEP and Coastal Carolina for beating North Dakota State and St. Joseph's as the only underdogs to win outright yesterday in men's college basketball. And then, talking about football on the gridiron, Washington State handled Utah State pretty easy in the bowl game early yesterday. They went as an outright underdog on all the numbers that moved around. Game ended 34-21, so game goes over all the numbers. And then I believe you were asking me mainly specifically about last night's Monday Night Football game, but the 49ers covered all numbers and go over the total by themselves, winning that one 48-27. To put a bow on the recap of Week 16, favorites 10-6 straight up, 7-9 against the spread. Totals were 9-6-1, and 9 reverse teaser legs were covered on that 2001 7-for-7 card. So only 3 favorites with extra on that side. So 6 underdogs were able to win outright and cover something there. So ultimately last night was not good for us because we were cheering for the Colts. But the Niners look like they're going to be a problem offensively.
Very interesting game plan the Colts went with, right? Getting into a shootout against the Niners. I thought they were going to lean on their run game a little bit more, kind of mucked it up against Seattle. And then last week, we're really leaning on Phillip Rivers. Looked good for the first half, right? But still asking just a little bit too much of him, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know if it was fully in their game plan to have Phillip Rivers lead the way. Obviously, a 44-year-old that can't really move, you don't want to be relying on him too much. But the Niners were able to contain Jonathan Taylor. They forced the fumble early and were able to get up early. And when you're able to contain the run game, you kind of force the other team, and you're up, you force the other team to have to throw. It was the Colts aren't built to play from behind at this point in the year.
No, they definitely aren't. And we'll get to them shortly when we go over Week 17 here. And if we think that there is a spot, they do have a division game coming up. So that is pretty interesting there. Washington State, wow. I think I got to look into this. I keep saying it, but I know interim head coaches have not done well so far in these bowl games, but they came to play. I thought you made a great point yesterday about this is a future conference matchup, right? And they want to set the tone, and they looked good. I did not think that over was going to get there, which was a lean for me, but somehow did end up going over that total.
Well, your numbers liked Wazoo, right? So you were good there, but they ended up winning a lot more dominant than we thought it would be.
I know. I actually think we might make it a little more complicated than necessary for these bowl games, right? Overthink it a little bit too much. 3 bowl games tonight. One of them we are definitely looking forward to with UNLV in the Frisco Bowl against Ohio. And, of course, our normal Tuesdays, we usually have Matt Neverett, but he is going to be calling that game tonight. So we'll hear from him in about 25 minutes. We'll have him remote to check in. We'll go over a couple of big NFL games with him as we do on Tuesdays, and then we'll check in for the bowl game and what he thinks. So far, all really good clips from media there, talking to Dan Mullen and all of the players, where it doesn't seem like UNLV has any opt-outs, right? Maybe a couple injuries, but guys that have missed the end of the season anyway. So pretty good culture, I'd say, that they've got going on with the Rebels.
Yeah, and just to kind of add to that point, knowing that San Diego State and Boise State are leaving the conference, going to the Pac-12 next year, it's a little more incentive for the guys that are part of the UNLV program to stay and be able to really only have to to really only have to go against New Mexico
Yeah.
to be the top dog in the Mountain West next year, or at least on paper right now.
I like the joke Dan Mullen kind of joked about. If any other teams are opting out of bowl games, we'll play another. I mean, we need a few days to recover, but so.
Yeah, everybody, Dan Mullen is all about spotting the ball. Let's run it. So,
Yep.
Good leader, and excited for the path that UNLV football is headed on.
Well, as you mentioned, yesterday put a bow, not the bowl games, a bow on week 16 in the NFL. So let's move forward and take a look at week 17, starting with Christmas Day, of course. 3 football games on Thursday, and then we've got 2 on Saturday. Finish it off with a nice Sunday slate and then a Monday night football game. So let's go through these lines, where they open, where they currently are, and what these teams have to play for. Pretty crazy because Chris Andrews, sportsbook director here at the South Point, has said it a couple times, but he is not wrong. These games to start the year looked like they were going to be dynamite matchups here on Christmas with the Cowboys, Commanders, Lions, Vikings, and Broncos and Chiefs. And now it looks a lot different, right? This week going into week 17, where let's start it off, Ryan. Cowboys and Commanders, both of these teams already eliminated, right? Cowboys did win the first matchup 44-22. Dallas opened 5.5, total 50.5, yes. And Cowboys are now a 7-point favorite, total 51. Still looks like it is going to be Johnson, right, playing here for the Commanders.
Yeah, and that's why we see the move up to now a touchdown with the Cowboys favored on the road. All of these games on Christmas Day have a road favorite of almost a full touchdown at least. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah, this is going to be a division game. It's going to be hard fought. And I would like to say that the Cowboys, I mean, obviously it's priced that way. The Cowboys should win this game going against a third string quarterback. And the way that they got beat up last week, but there's some things going on in the Cowboys locker room, specifically on the defensive side. Matt Eberflus will not be their defensive coordinator next year, so this is kind of his way to maybe prove the last 2 weeks that he should still be a defensive coordinator in the NFL. But off of his head coaching tenure in Chicago and this year in Dallas, don't know if he's going to be a DC.
Yeah. Has not looked great, even though we saw a glimpse a couple weeks after the trades, but really has gone downhill again for the Cowboys. I'm going to stay off of this. I would be cautious here too, even laying that 7. Commanders, I mean, they fought hard against the Eagles. Of course, lose Marcus Mariota in that one, but now another division matchup on a short week here. So it makes it very tough to handicap this one. Let's keep it moving on that Christmas note. I do like this one. And can the Lions ruin another holiday for me? I hope not. But the Lions laying 7 on the road here against Minnesota. Now, this is the only one of all of our division matchups that is a home revenge. Minnesota went into Detroit and beat them in the first matchup 27-24. I think there is still a possibility we do get JJ McCarthy, but I think probably going to go with Max Brosmer here because Vikings don't have much to play for in the long run with the playoff hopes already gone for them. Lions -6. Okay, now it's even down to 6 here. So I do like that side here. Total 44.5 between them. And I know the Lions definitely have their issues too, but just looking at a number standpoint, I'd make it 5.5, give them a little bit of home revenge here. Closer to an 8, so under that key number. I do like the Lions. Anything for you in this one?
No. I'm going to enjoy my Christmas Day and skip over this NFC North divisional battle. But the one thing that I do want to point out in it is that really the only thing that obviously these guys are competing for their jobs. Both teams want to win, all that kind of stuff. But what it will play into is scheduling for next year. The Lions are 8-7. The Vikings are 7-8. The Lions go into Chicago next week. And the Vikings host the Packers next week. So both teams are staring at a loss in week 18. So this game could put them tied if the Vikings end up pulling off the upset, which would ultimately decide the 3rd place or 4th place schedules going into 2026. So doesn't handicap the game at all, but something to keep in mind for the franchises moving forward.
Well, and another note there, Brian Flores' defense has been playing much better, right? And that's what really kept them in the game last week against the Giants. So even though offensively they've had their struggles, that defense is really good. So kind of strength on strength here. Lions defensive struggles. Offense looks relatively good, looked better against the Steelers in the second half. But so good point though about I know Dan Campbell doesn't care about that. So that doesn't scare me off too much.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Detroit coming in this one, just coming off of a loss. So you're going to get a bounce back effort from them in a division game. So it's priced correctly. Maybe even comfortable laying the 6, but not a play.
Right. Who do the Lions have next week?
They have the Bears.
Okay, so this might be one that we want the Lions to go in there, blow out the Vikings. Everybody's thinking, oh, the Lions are back. We knew how good this team was, right? And then maybe get more points there with Chicago next week.
Yeah. I wouldn't hate it, but as long as the Bears win this week against San Francisco, that game ultimately means nothing for them in Week 18. Granted, Ben Johnson leads a little bit of a grittier team thanks to his leader and Dan Campbell. So I don't think they'll be resting their starters, but there are several guys that are plenty banged up. So probably playing sporadically but it's a tough task going into San Francisco this week anyway. So these teams that are in playoff position want to get things rolling, want to be playing good football going into the playoffs. So just keep that in mind. But we'll go to the final game on Christmas Day. The Denver Broncos on the road in Kansas City opened Broncos -13. We now still have a 13, has not moved yet. Total at 36.5. That also has not moved. What do your numbers say in this one, Alex?
My numbers say 7. And I think Chris Andrews brought this one up, right? Yesterday, he said what his raw power ratings number was and couldn't get it high enough, but kind of followed the market, put a 13 out there, and I really don't blame him. Has to be, you would imagine, a bounce back spot here for the Broncos, coming off of that loss where they really, I don't think, showed up against the Jags. So they still have a shot at that 1 seed. I would be nervous to take the points, but Kansas City, their last home game here, might just be playing for pride. So 13 is a lot of points in a division matchup. And first one, Broncos did win at home, 22-19. So they know they can get it done, but do they care about covering this big number? It would be a lean to taking the points there. Will not be Minshew, though, who did tear his ACL in the last game. So Chris Oladipo will be the backup third string quarterback going here today.
With this, the Broncos host the Chargers next week. So granted, they don't need to cover the 13 to get things done, but this could be their final business trip until going through the postseason and maybe going to Santa Clara to play in the Super Bowl. They're going to be trying to host every single game going into the AFC playoff picture. So just need to win, don't need to cover the 13. But I would be much more inclined to laying the 13, maybe even taking it down to 7, going against a third-string quarterback, coming off of a loss the way that they did last week. Not a close loss, but an embarrassing loss. So Broncos should be fired up, especially against this division rival.
You know, you made me just think of something, too. Their defense is top-notch, right? But didn't look so great last week. They'll be ready for this one. Kansas City Chiefs team total under.
That could be a good look there, too.
It's probably going to be 13. It's going to be pretty low there, but I don't hate it at all.
All right, we'll go to the games on Saturday, the first one of which is currently off the board here at the South Point, but it is listed in rotation number order. It is the Saturday night football game between the Baltimore Ravens and Green Bay Packers. This is not the matchup that they thought they would be getting when they flexed this to be Saturday night football. Looking like it'll be Tyler Huntley and more than likely Malik Willis starting for the Green Bay Packers there. But Off the board here, the South Point, it looks like in the market it is 2.5 for Green Bay, minus 2.5 for Green Bay, total at 40.5. Do you have numbers yet, Alex?
Well, no,
Okay.
I really don't. I mean, I have these two power rated pretty much the exact same with the injuries, right? So you give Green Bay a little bit of home field, and I think that's where the other books came up with their 2.5 at home. So I agree with that. But just for everybody out there, just pay attention because I think there's a shot either or both starting quarterbacks in Jordan Love and Lamar Jackson could play. So makes it interesting. But even with that being said, I think I'd lean to the Packers here. I really feel like the Ravens have kind of just phoned it in. And I mean, they have a lot still ahead of them. And they need help, right? They need the Steelers to lose this week.
Yes. If the Ravens lose in Green Bay Saturday night or the Steelers win against the Browns in Cleveland, the Ravens are eliminated. Week 18 does not matter, even with the head-to-head against each other, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. So, again, we do have these playoffs clinching elimination scenarios linked in the description. So after you click the subscribe button, you can check out the description and read up on that if you'd like more of a visual for yourself. Moving to the early game on Saturday, but later in the rotation number, we have the Texans on the road in SoFi Stadium taking on the Chargers. Open Chargers minus 1.5. We are still there at 1.5 here at the South Point. Total at 40 is where it opened. We are now down to 39.5, which is exactly where it is in the market. But there are 2s and 2.5s in the market for the Chargers.
I might have to lean to taking 2.5 there with Houston. I did make it 1, so pretty close right here at 1.5, and it's not even a big difference. But I do think that this will be a really good game. I think it will be back and forth. So if you're getting points with either side, that's the side I'd like to be on. I made it 41.5. You think we could get over that low total of 39.5?
I definitely think so. I mean, I get that these two are two of the best defenses in the National Football League, and we'll break it down a little more with Matt and Everett. But yeah, I like the Texans here. The money lines, despite it being a 1.5 here at the South Point and 2s and 2.5s elsewhere, the money line is just as good, plus 110 here at the South Point, as it is as some of those 2.5s. So, yeah, well, I'll be playing the Texans on the money line.
Texans money line for Ryan in that one. Did you mention what happens with a win and loss for both these teams?
I did not.
Okay.
So if the Texans lose and the Jags win, the Jags are officially AFC South champions. If the Chargers, so that would mean a Chargers win. If the Chargers lose, Texans win, and the Broncos win, Denver is the AFC West champion. So just to keep that in mind, a little bit of help there, but Denver cannot clinch the 1 seed yet. They will need their matchup in Week 18.
Both of these teams are playing not to lose their division.
Yes.
Really, because if they lose, kind of crown the other one there.
Yes.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's go to Sunday. A lot of matchups that aren't very meaningful, but we'll still go through them and give you the updated lines here. The Cardinals going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Bengals 7-point favorite. Total 53.5. Open 52.5. So up a point for that one. Still the struggles for the Bengals side, but they looked for the Bengals defensive side. Offense was clicking in the last matchup against the Dolphins. Cardinals look good for half, and that's kind of been the story, right? And I've been on them way too much. So I'm going to pass on this one, even though I only have the Bengals about 3.5 here at home. Anything for you in that one?
Yeah, I cannot play the Birds with any kind of confidence. And yeah, you talk about the Bengals firing on all cylinders on offense last week. They really were doing so against the Ravens, even though they got shut out. It just costly turnovers in the red zone led to them getting no points on the board. They didn't even have the opportunity to kick a field goal. So I do think they're going to be looking to get some confidence, but so are the Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon's coaching for his career right now, so would not confidently lay the 7, but it would be more a lean to do so. If it gets lower, I'll definitely be tempted there with the Bengals.
Might be another team total, because with the team that only has 5 wins on the year with Cincinnati. You don't want to lay a whole touchdown in the NFL, but maybe if you just want to back their offense, going with a team total over for the Bengals.
Yeah, that could definitely be a good look.
Huge game here. Who would have thought? We got the Seahawks at Carolina. Seattle opened 7, sitting here at 7 at the South Point. Total has not moved either, 42.5. Pretty emotional wins for both of these teams, honestly, to keep their 1 seed alive for their divisions. And Seattle, of course, overall for the NFC. But anything jump out to you in this matchup?
Really just the fact that if the Panthers pull off the upset, Week 18 does not matter. They lock up the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are eliminated. So, yeah, the Panthers, granted, have not been very good. They've been very spotty, very hot and cold. Win one, come flat. When they're flat, they come back and are able to be competitive. So, but going against the Seahawks team is going to be a very tall task, even though it's at home. But we did see the Panthers pull off the upset earlier this year at home versus that other NFC South opponent or NFC West opponent.
That's right.
And one of the favorites to win the NFC in the Los Angeles Rams. So can't count the Panthers out here.
It does make me like the Seahawks a little bit, though, that's probably talked about, right? Like, don't make that same mistake, and they're kind of fortunate. I made Seattle 9 here on the road. I'm very high on the Seahawks and haven't been that high on Carolina, but they've been better on the road as of late. The last couple years, Seattle has, so it's a lean that way. Might be taking a stab here at a favorite teaser going down, even though it did not work out for us last week.
And I didn't look into the all-time numbers of this one, which I probably could pull up pretty quickly, but the Seahawks have no problems traveling to the East, as I had pointed out that they have won, I believe, 7 straight against the Falcons in Atlanta. So, yeah, the Seahawks have no problem going to the East Coast. Maybe even more of a thing, East Coast versus West Coast, the West Coast team being able to get it done. But they also are riding really, really high off of that 2-point conversion win on Thursday night against the Rams.
Very much so. Carolina, big comeback win over Tampa Bay, too, so should be a good one. I really do believe that.
Very true. Just to pull up the number that I was looking for, all time, the Seahawks lead this one 11-5, and the Seahawks have won 4 of the last 5. All right, going to the game down the road here in Las Vegas, the battle for the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. 2 teams that are 2-13, the New York Giants and the Las Vegas Raiders. This game opened with the Giants as a 1-point favorite here at the South Point. It has flipped. The Raiders are a 1-point favorite. Total open 42. We are down to 41.5. Alex, is that favorite flip correct?
I agree. I've got the Raiders 1-point favorite at home here. I would like to see it flip back and the Raiders announce that they're starting Kenny Pickett, but I don't know if that is going to happen. So nothing for me in this one. That's kind of an interesting game to go to. Like you said, the battle for the number 1 overall pick there between those two.
Yeah. I unfortunately will not be in attendance for this one, despite one of my best friends be playing in the game. I will be taking a little bit of a vacation. But, again, I've said it for the last couple of weeks. The Giants are so incredibly poorly coached. Those two descriptions work together. But their defense is their best unit, and we've seen the Raiders struggle on offense and what they can't do against capable defenses. So this one I do think is moving the right direction to the under. And the way the Giants offense struggled last week, Jackson Dart not being able to do anything against the Minnesota Vikings defense, this Raiders defense is not that. So I would tend to think the Giants will be able to get it done, especially on the road. They don't have the MetLife curse going against them. But yeah, again, 2 very bad teams, the 2 worst teams record-wise in the NFL. So we'll go to one that does matter. For one side, the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road in Cleveland taking on the Browns. Open Steelers -4.5. We have moved a full point towards the Browns So now 3.5 here at the South Point. Total 34.5 is where it opened. We are now down a half to 34. Again, if the Steelers win this game and the Ravens lose the day before on Saturday, or that's an or, the Steelers are AFC North champions. So.
Kind of feels like a game the Steelers could end up losing outright, doesn't it? I agree with the move here, taking that 4.5. I'd rather have that number, but probably will be on the Browns in one way or another. They've looked better. They've got a tough defense. Their defense is better at home. We'll have to, of course, check the weather, but I mean, they're riding high off of that big Lions win. Might take Cleveland a little lightly, even though they played the Bills very tough. But yeah, I like the points here. Steelers did win the first one. They were at home, though, 23-9. But what about you? Are you...
We did... It's kind of the same point with the Raiders. We've seen what a capable defense does against these bad offenses, and the Browns are a bad offense. And the Steelers played their best game on defense of the entire year last week against the Lions on the road. So I would tend to think that they'll be able to do so again. The thing that I did want to point out, and I think I'm remembering this correctly, but the last time they played in Cleveland was the Jameis Winston game in the really bad weather in which the Browns got it done. Let me see if I can get the box score real quick. Yeah, the Jameis Winston game in which he threw no touchdown passes, but they won 24-19. So I'm sure the Steelers that are still on the roster, still being coached by Mike Tomlin, remember that, and that they realize that they, even if the Ravens lose, it's about playing good football at the right time. So I don't understand the move to. I mean, kind of understand it, but it would be, if we get to a 3, I'll be laying it. It'll be a don't blink situation.
Well, to be honest, that 1 point might just be DK Metcalf.
True.
Of course, right now suspended for the next 2 games.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I feel like that might actually stand, but yeah, I think that could probably be that move. I mean, and Cleveland has not quit yet. We've seen it. So I think that's another point there. Division game, you got to take the points. A lot of people, that's how they play these. So I would imagine that goes into it as well. All right, 2 more here that a little bit rough, kind of meaningless. Saints at Tennessee. Saints are a 2.5-point road favorite. Total 38 opened. Now it is up to 39.5. So expecting points, which we have seen both offenses look a whole lot better. Saints being the favorite because their defense has been better than Tennessee's all year long. I would lean to taking the points here, though. I do think Tennessee has been playing much better. I made it 1.5. So small lean there. And then we have the Dolphins hosting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 5-point favorite, up from 4.5. Total open 46.5 and is sitting right there at 46.5. I would like to bet Tampa Bay, Ryan, but I don't want to lay points with them. They are the more desperate team. Quinn Ewers, okay for Miami, but man, that second half against the Bengals, they looked awful. Kind of looked like they were just quitting on the season. So it would be only Tampa Bay for me, but I'm probably not going to get involved.
I do kind of think the Dolphins are live, even with Quinn Ewers. Granted, I thought they were live against the Steelers, and they got dominated on the line of scrimmage. And I think the Bucs have a much stronger line of scrimmage than the Bengals did last week. But with that being said, kind of making the point last night of being able to play from behind, the Dolphins are not able to do so. So if this is a tight battle and the Bucs don't get up early, I definitely think the Dolphins are live. But it's a matter of not getting the turnovers, which the Dolphins sacrificed last week against the Bengals with interceptions and costly fumbles at the wrong time. So, this one more so an in-game than a pre-flop. Going to one that matters a whole lot. The Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in Indianapolis taking on the Colts. Jags open -6.5. We are still there at 6.5. Total at 46.5 is where it opened. We are up a point to 47.5.
I wish the Colts didn't even play as competitive as they did. I do like the 6.5 here with Indianapolis. I think that this is selling at the very peak of the Jags stock here. 6.5 on the road, division game. The Colts defense did not look great last night against the 49ers, but I do think they'll be ready for this one, division matchup. And we talked about the Jags owning the Colts at home, right? They won that first game 36-19. I think the Colts will be up for it at home here. Anything for you? Agree? Disagree? Is it time to jump off of Indianapolis bandwagon here?
I mean, the theory, yeah, buy low, sell high. You are absolutely right that this might be the pinnacle of where we view the Jaguars, especially how dominant they were last week in Denver, and how bad the Colts looked last night with having to play from behind. But I do think that the Jags will be able to get up in this game and kind of the same situation of having to play from behind. Granted, I do think Jonathan Taylor will be more of an impact in that one, being able to run the ball against a little bit of a weaker defense there. So, no play for me right now. We'll see where we get closer to game time.
Very good. Maybe a 7 could convince you to jump in there with the Colts. But let's keep it going here. Patriots on the road in MetLife against the Jets here. 13.5-point favorite. Total 43. No movement on that one. New England won the first matchup 27-14 at home. It's a little higher than mine. I'm closer to 10 here. I am not taking points with the Jets. Moving on to the Eagles at Buffalo. This should be a great matchup here. The Bills 2.5 at home. It's where it opened. Total actually has been bet down from 45 to 43. Yeah, I guess I got to lean to taking the points there with the Eagles. It'd probably be taking the points with either side. I have the Eagles as a 1-point favorite on the road in this one. Ryan, anything for you in either of those two matchups?
Not quite. We will break down the Eagles and Bills down. We'll break that down more here in a second with our guy Matt Neverett. So I'll save my thoughts in that one. But going to Sunday Night Football, one that matters tremendously for the NFC playoff picture. The Chicago Bears on the road in San Francisco kind of highlighted that last night could be one of the last road games for the Niners this year if they are able to get the 1 seed and steal it next week against Seattle. But they have to win here first. So they are a 3-point favorite at home against the Bears. Total opened at 50. We are up 2.5 points there. Have not moved on the side, but 2.5 points to the total, up to 52.5.
Very curious to see where this goes. Does this go down to 2.5 or does this go up to 3.5? I would imagine with the way San Francisco looked yesterday, it would go up to 3.5. So maybe I'll get involved there.
We did just go, or a 2.5 just popped up over at Hard Rock, but it is a -30 on the price there. All right, going to Monday Night Football. The Rams on the road in Atlanta, taking on the Falcons. Rams opened an 8-point favorite. We are still there as an 8-point favorite. And total, open 49.5. We are still right there. What do you think on Monday night, Alex?
I think it's a little high. I do. But I'm really not interested in getting involved with the Falcons right now. And the Rams coming off a loss, I think they're going to be very hungry. So coaching, mismatch really in all areas. So that's probably going to be a pass for me. We'll see as we get closer. You mentioned it. We're going to deep dive into a couple of these games. We got Houston and the Chargers, Eagles and the Bills, and we've got the Bears and Niners. We're going to talk about that with Matt Neverett coming up next. He's been waiting. He's a busy man. He's got a bowl game coming up tonight. So let's take a quick break and bring Matt Neverett in here on Sports by the Book.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
All right, we are back here on Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live. Love to hear from you. Please jump in with the poll question before we get to our hockey best bets. The poll on fire. They had another winner last night, so keep it coming. We love to hear from you guys. I'm Alex Waite alongside Ryan McCormick, and now we bring in our good friend Matt Neverett, who is live from Texas. Matt, we're going to get to some college talk here soon, but let's start off with the National Football League first. I know you watched that game last night with Phillip Rivers. Give us your thoughts on the Niners-Colts matchup last night.
The ageless wonder, and it goes to show what modern quarterback development has become when a 44-year-old fresh off the couch for 5 years coaching in high school can come in and just dissect defenses like that. Now, granted, I think the better team won, and I think that is a very interesting matchup to kind of gauge where both of these teams are. The 49ers in terms of taking care of what they need to take care of, and the Colts in terms of what they have outside of the quarterback position, because obviously, it's going to be a year-long plus injury for Danny Dimes at the Signal Caller spot for the Colts. So they're going to need to kind of do something to stopgap that bridge over the next year or so. It can't be Phillip Rivers. There's no way this is more than just a 3 or 4 game experiment, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that there's just a
One would hope
3-4 game experiment for sure. But I think you laid it out there perfect, right? Just his experience, really, you could see that definitely last night, and then the difference between some of our younger quarterbacks that are in the league. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that people are posting videos on social media of Phillip Rivers breaking down a defense. And, there was one that I saw where it started with the official was trying to hold up the play because the offense subbed, the defense gets to sub, the offense didn't sub. So Phillip's like, go away. We didn't sub. Boom, boom, boom. Changes 3 hot routes, wide open receiver on a corner route. And that just doesn't happen anymore. He's one of the best to do it. And, there's a reason why, although his Hall of Fame clock has been moved back, in now 5 years from now, he'll be in Canton.
maybe having guys like him in the film room, right, to help these young quarterbacks.
Go figure.
All right, let's get to some of these big matchups. I'm excited to talk about this first one on Saturday. It's going to be a really good game. Speaking of good young quarterbacks, we've got 2 of them in this matchup with Justin Herbert and CJ Stroud. So Houston and the Chargers, a big AFC showdown here. And the Chargers, it's moving. It's 1.5 right now at the South Point. Total 39.5. And I don't know how much you really do cover the Raiders, but the Raiders, they were able to score on this really elite Texans defense. It's pretty low total there, but I don't want to persuade you. What do you think in this matchup between the Texans and the Chargers?
I mean, it's one of those where I guess it's just how much do you read into that game if you're considering the Texans. The Raiders, they're such a hard team to read right now because they're trying to tank, but Pete Carroll I don't think is physically capable of being a tank commander, so to speak. So it's just a weird conundrum. And I really week to week don't know how much you can read into the Raiders because it's just a bad football team that has some good skill positions, including the defensive rush end spots in Crosby and company. But I think the Texans winners of now 7 straight, best defense in the league. They've been one of the hotter offenses over the last couple of weeks, all things considered. I think on paper they're a better team than the Chargers. I think the Chargers are one of the more up and down teams in the league. considering that they could beat some of the best, but I think also drop some games to really, really bad teams this year. We've seen the Texans crescendoing as the year progresses. That's exactly what you want. I think they're getting hot at the right time. I think that they put up a lot of points, and I don't think the Chargers get completely stymied because of the athletes that they have on offense. I could see this one going over 40, and I do like the Texans in this one. I think that they continue to remain hot. You'll find this week. I like a lot of these short dogs here in the last couple of weeks where it really means something.
I think Ryan's with you on that, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm right there with you with the Texans. I do think both of these defenses are capable. The Texans are the best, and the Chargers are the third best defense in terms of yards allowed per game. The Texans are the best in points per game, and the Chargers are 8th in the league there in points per game. But the Texans have the second best turnover differential in the National Football League, and they are 3rd in takeaways with 25 this year. You kind of add in the fact that Justin Herbert's offensive line isn't that great, and the Texans are able to get after their quarterback. I really think that the Texans defense is going to be able to stand up on the road here against the Chargers. And kind of looking at what they did in the playoffs last year, if you guys remember that game, it was one of, if not the worst game of Justin Herbert's career. He went 14 of 32, 242 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, sacked 4 times, and just a 40.9 passer rating. The 1 touchdown came with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Broken play, 86-yard touchdown to Ladd McConkey, in which the extra point was blocked and returned for 2 points. So the Texans really, really dominated that game. And last week was the first time that Justin Herbert has not been sacked in a game this season. That definitely changes this week. And we you guys had mentioned that the Raiders were feisty last week against the Texans. But the week prior to that, they were shut out. And we've talked about on this show, betting on teams that get shut out against the spread and betting against teams that doing the shutting out. And now, since 2015, teams that were shut out in their previous game are 37, 17, and 3 against the spread, including 7-0 this year. So that's really why I think the Raiders were able to be competitive in that game. Also, the Texans looking ahead to this very spot, knowing that it was a playoff matchup.
Ryan, you make some great points there, and now I have to go opposite of you guys because you know I love a good revenge spot, especially a playoff revenge spot. So Chargers are going to be ready for this one. They've had it circled for a while. This is going to be a great matchup between these two. Tough thing to handicap is Justin Herbert. I don't know if you guys agree, but I feel like he's playing a little bit like Josh Allen, where you can't really handicap it, but he is kind of doing heroic things and putting this offense on his back. So it's tough to handicap that part. You make a lot of great points. They are the better defense, but now the revenge spot. So those two on the Texans. I'll be the loner over here on the Chargers. Let's move on to the next one here. There we go. Thank you, Vinny. Let's go to the Eagles and the Bills. I really thought I would be on the Bills as a short favorite at home here against the Eagles. I'm not impressed with them. Bet against them last week against the Commanders. I really think they could have covered that, if not won outright, if Mariota did not get hurt. But my numbers still say this should be more like a pick 'em here. Matt, what do you think? Buffalo minus 2.5 at home against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, I think a lot of it depends in this game on what kind of a game you think it's going to be. You know, if you think it's going to be the low-scoring, run-it-out game, then it would probably trend Eagles. If you think it's going to be a little higher scoring, you would expect the Bills to be able to outlast the defending world champions. And while it does call for kind of a messy forecast in this game, give me the red-hot Buffalo Bills in this game, covering a short number. I'll probably take it money line. There are obvious shortcomings on that roster, but you also got to consider it's a potential letdown spot for Philadelphia. They claimed a postseason berth last week. So we have seen over the years that's a pretty bettable angle, especially in a game where they go on the road. The Bills 6-1 at Highmark Stadium this year, and they've rattled off 4 consecutive wins. So they're hot. They're the better offense on paper this year. And I think that if you think the game will go over, which I think it will, or at least be relatively high scoring, I think you would have to go with the Bills. And I think with the way they've been able to figure out the running game and James Cook is in his immersion this year, I think that you're going to be able to see the Bills get ahead and really milk the clock and hold on to a lead late.
Well, we just saw this one move to 2 here at the South Point, so it looks like it's been a take on the 2.5 with the Eagles. I'm with Matt, though. I think the Bills are going to be able to win this game. It is a fall flat spot for the Eagles. Matt had mentioned they clinched their postseason berth thanks to the Niners thanks to the Lions losing, and then the Niners win on Monday eliminated the Eagles from being in the 1 seed. So they're going to have to go on the road at some point in this postseason, more than likely, and so they're more than likely stuck in that 3 spot as well. They can't really move down unless they lose both of these games, but they do have a tough matchup next week against the Commanders, knowing that Dan Quinn's going to have those boys fired up because the Eagles went for the bonus points at the end in that one last week. But the thing that I wanted to highlight in this one, other than the fact that Chris Andrews, our sportsbook director here at the South Point, has mentioned the Packers being a paper tiger. The Eagles are just that. The funny thing in this one, Eagles lead all-time 9-6. The Eagles are 2-0 against Josh Allen. This is Josh Allen has defeated 30 of 32 teams in the NFL. The Eagles and the Bills are the only 2 teams that Josh Allen has not won a game against. That changes this week. The Bills get it done.
I love it. I can confidently bet the over here. I did make this number 47, and I know we've seen, and you mentioned it, Ryan, kind of a paper tiger with the Eagles, but we've seen the best of the best when it comes to their defense, but I really don't trust them, and I do trust the Bills. James Cook, oh my gosh, him and Josh Allen, I think they're going to score points here, and the Eagles have looked better offensively, right? I mean, it kind of just depends on the game, but I think they can do enough here to get us over that 43. So you guys do like the Bills in this spot. I'm staying off at the side, but I do like the over. And Matt said that was correlated, so that's kind of a stamp there for us. All right, last but not least, we'll throw it to Ryan first here because he is our resident Chicago fan, catching 3 points against the Niners, total 52.5. Ryan, I don't know if you want to lay it out first, how meaningful this game is for both teams.
I'll first mention that earlier in the show, I had brought up that there was a lone 2.5 in the market, being able to lay with the 49ers. That is gone. It was a don't blink moment, as our guy Vinny says. So we are back to 3 everywhere in the market. With that being said, this is a must win for both teams if they want to be the 1 seed in the NFC. The Niners have a head-to-head next week against the Seattle Seahawks. So if both teams handle their business, Seahawks beat the Panthers and Niners beat the Bears here, that will be a head-to-head in Week 18 to decide the number 1 seed in the NFC. If the Bears do get the win here against the Niners can still help out the Bears by beating the Seahawks next week, and the Bears would ultimately end up being the number 1 seed in the NFC and having the NFC playoff picture go through Chicago. With that being said, I would be more confident in laying the 3 with the San Francisco 49ers instead of taking it with my Chicago Bears.
Wow.
The Bears were not able to force a punt this past week against the Green Bay Packers, with Malik Willis as the Green Bay Packers quarterback for the majority of that game. So not able to get key stops when they needed to. They were just able to force turnovers, which is what this team, the Chicago Bears team, has lived and died by so far this season. The 49ers take pretty good control of the ball, and they also have not punted since November 30th. They have not punted in 2 straight weeks. So if the Bears can't force punts, the playmakers on the Niners are going to be able to do enough, and the Niners get the win here at home in their first of what could be 6 straight games at home to be Super Bowl champions.
Matt, what do you think in this one?
Wow. Not only is Ryan predicting a 49ers win, he's predicting a championship to Santa Clara. I like it. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm actually gonna probably take a little bit of action on the Bears this week. Probably a money line bet because of some numbers that I was able to dig up on this game. Not only is San Francisco, or rather Chicago is, let me see, 10-4-1 ATS this week or this year. They are 5-0-1 as underdogs this year against the spread. So they've been able to keep it close, if not win outright. I think that offensively, obviously, we saw them unlock some things, and really the whole year has been a progression for Caleb Williams and that offense in Chicago under Ben Johnson. But this San Francisco defense, I think a lot of it is due to injury, but they've allowed the 8th most yards per play. They've also generated pressure at the lowest rate in the NFL, and they've got the fewest sacks in the league. Now, Part of that is due to the injuries. Part of that is just due to the fact that they haven't been overly aggressive. And Caleb Williams has a double completion percentage. It's 66% completion percentage from a clean pocket this year, 38.7% when he's been pressured. When Caleb Williams has had time, he's been able to dissect defenses as we've seen him progress throughout the year. I don't think San Francisco is going to be able to do enough to put as much pressure on him. At the very least, I think the Bears offense has a very good day, and it's just a matter of them making plays defensively to stop those aforementioned playmakers with the 49ers, like you had said.
Which has been the struggle for Chicago, right, is on that defensive side and kind of relying on the turnovers there. I did not have it on my bingo card today that you two would be picking the opposite. I definitely thought Ryan had the Bears and Matt had the Niners. I'm going with Ryan here with the home team laying 3. Brock Purdy playing some really good football and everything still in front of them. Kyle Shanahan had said yesterday in the postgame that he could finally celebrate with his team for clinching the playoffs, because years past it was always, we're going to a Super Bowl, we're going to win a Super Bowl. And this year, he kind of switched it up. He's like, we just have to take care of business one game at a time. It's another game here at home that they have an opportunity. And I do think they can cover that short spread. Okay, there's our 3 big matchups here. Matt Neverett, we appreciate you jumping on with us. You got a big bowl game tonight. There's a lot of clips being shared out there. Dan Mullen, pumped up, excited, and most of the team, if not all the team, they're all playing besides the guys that really have injuries.
Literally the entire team. And it's something to behold in modern college football when you've got an entire roster that's willing to play 14 games altogether in the same season. I hate that that's the case, but that's kind of where we find ourselves. And credit to Ohio as well. Tonight, UNLV and Ohio in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl here at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility, the Ford Center at the Star here just north of Dallas. Ohio, and out of the MAC, you see this a lot, able to keep just about everybody year to year, and they've got their entire roster as well. I don't know if there is a single opt-out between the two teams. We'll have to get confirmation on that before kickoff. 8 o'clock Central Time here, 6 o'clock out on the West Coast tonight for kickoff on ESPN and our radio broadcast on ESPN Las Vegas. But it's crazy, right? Like no opt-outs for either side. And there was one guy on defense for UNLV that I was told, he's not going to play. He's got some personal disputes. And then last night they're like, oh yeah, he's playing. What of it? It's just hilarious that every other school is worried about the exodus from the coaching staff and the roster. And here we are, 2 teams basically playing with the full roster. And I think that this number jumping up over a touchdown is no surprise. You see these numbers move to favorites in bowl games in general, but especially when it's a national, like a sexy national team like UNLV that a lot of people know and at least know the brand. So it's going to be a high total. I actually think that this game is going to be high scoring as well. So I think both of these numbers are really tricky to put a wager on, but I think that they're both spot on.
Well, Matt, you'd have to say the move towards UNLV has to do with the coach, too, for Ohio, right? Because, of course, no Brian Smith on the sideline. So even though they do have a lot of their players, or all their players, that's a big advantage for the Rebels.
Absolutely, and it's also their defensive coordinator taking over as head coach. So in my eyes, I don't really see anything changing on the offensive side for Ohio. It would be really hard to come in and install a bunch of new offense with a new guy taking over at head coach. So I kind of expect to see the same run-focused, very, very grind-them-out style of offense that Ohio's been used to all season long. And for UNLV, I think that they're going to be able to bully them a little bit in the trenches. Ohio is a big physical team, but on the offensive line, UNLV has advantage just about all the way across. And I think in a game like this, that's going to be huge. It's going to be a track meet one way or another. And Ohio quarterback Parker Navarro and UNLV quarterback Anthony Calandri can both make some special things happen with their legs. So I think we get a bunch of long plays. It's going to be a really fun game to call indoors as well. It's been a really cool experience out here in Frisco near Dallas so far. And looking forward to this game tonight, late night on ESPN.
Interesting that the Cowboys actually play on Christmas, but you guys are going to be playing in their practice field.
They're
right?
practicing today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like we can't get into the stadium until about 3 hours before kickoff because the Cowboys are practicing in there during the day because they do play on Thursday on Christmas. So that's just kind of, what you do when you're playing in an NFL team's facility. Of course, they're going to take precedent, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's a shame you can't go and get an open practice. Get to watch.
I know. I would love to. I don't know Uncle Jerry like that. Although I did go and support the cause with my Cowboy shirt.
I was gonna say you did flash that before we brought you on here and went live. So that's your new NFC team, I'm guessing.
I guess as long as it's not the Bears, right?
Oh, man.
Hey, if the Bears win outright this week, you got to get a Chicago shirt. If they beat the Niners,
I may have to. I may have to just bully Ryan into giving me one of his.
I got plenty.
There we go. Ryan, anything else for Matt or before we let him go?
Really, Matt, if you have any other plays, anything that stands out to you on the board?
Nothing too much. I really haven't had a chance to take too much of a look at the college basketball board like I normally would. I promise you I'll have some college basketball leans when we get back because I've been pretty hot on those and some NFL teasers. I do feel pretty confident, all jokes aside, about the Bears this week and their ability to get it done against the 49ers. So I will probably be taking a bite of them. And if the Texans are still a dog here in a couple of days, I'll probably throw them in a teaser as well. Maybe a tease with both of those wouldn't be the worst. You're getting over a touchdown on both ideally. So maybe a Texans Bears teaser, but definitely going to take a little chunk of Bears money line.
Love it. Matt, we appreciate you. Always the best. We like having you here on Tuesdays. I guess you'll be back next Tuesday, we hope.
I will be back in Las Vegas next Tuesday, I promise. Christmas and all, I'll be ready to go.
Okay, good. Of course, college basketball does roll on. Voice of the Rebels and the Las Vegas Aviators here in Las Vegas, AAA team for the A's. So, Matt and Everett, thank you. We'll see you again next week. Ryan and I will take a quick break. When we get back, we've got hockey, and I did see a request for the other two bowl games. So we'll touch on those when we get back here on Sports by the Book.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
It's your way to bet against both teams.
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Always fun breaking down the big matchups of the NFL with Ryan and Matt here on Sports by the Book. I think I missed the ticker trivia, so hopefully you did not. Brought to you by City Light Shine. Jump in. You still have time if you want to put the correct answer in the chat if you do know it. As always, we appreciate you guys. Please hit that subscribe button, trying to hit our goal here. And also like, share it with your family over the holidays. That's all I can say. All right, let's get into a little bit of talk here with the bowl games, and then we will give our hockey best bets. Very sad. We've got about 4 days with no hockey coming up here. Don't want to compete with the NBA and the NFL, and it is a nice little break for those guys. But Louisville, Toledo, I'm not going to bet on this one, Ryan. My numbers say to bet Toledo, but the steam is going completely against me here. So it's opened up 9, took the points down to 7, but now it's just been one-way action on the Cardinals.
Yeah, that seems right, and it looks like we're just about to kick off here. So closed, 12.5 and 44 in that one, Toledo and Louisville.
Looks like Miller Moss will be playing for Louisville. Some question marks with their skill players. Jeff Brom said he hopes he has at least one running back going for Louisville, but it is definitely a gap I just think that's too many points, but we're going to pass on that one. The next one, Western Kentucky, Southern Miss. Southern Miss coach is moving on to UConn. Not much I want to do here, besides the fact that I have brought up that interim coaches have not done great. Now I think Western Kentucky actually has an opportunity in this one, getting 2 points. And do you think these two teams are more equal than people think? And Southern Miss had a fantastic year. Don't get me wrong. We were following them a lot, but I think you're getting a little value there with the plus 2, but I'd rather have at least 3 in a bowl type of game. So nothing. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people do want some action on these bowl games. I'll tell you, I do like UNLV. If you can get that under a touchdown, which it is 7 here at the South Point, I'll be playing UNLV minus 6.5. They're feeling good. Last time we saw them, they fell a little short, but they've had some time, and I just think they are the better team in this spot against Ohio.
Yeah, I do like the Rebels here too, and we'll get to talk to Chris Andrews here in a little bit to see if they might move off the 7 and be able to get a 6.5 here at the South Point. But it is 6.5 really everywhere else in the market, and the total at 65.5 is where everywhere else sits too. The one thing that I did want to mention on that last game, the Western Kentucky Southern Miss game, is where the market's at. There is a 1.5, there are 2.5s. We're at 2 here at the South Point, but the money lines are all either 105 or 110 for Western Kentucky to get it done. And if you're thinking that taking the points there, you're thinking that they'll be able to have a chance to get it on the money line. So the best 110 is where you'll get it.
Very good. And I mean, I'm hesitant sometimes, but I think I'm thinking more NFL, right? Where you will have a team down by 2, driving, kick a field goal, win by 3, right? And that 1 or 2 points matter in these bowl games. I think you bring up a solid point. You're playing a team, getting 2 points. You might as well take a shot for them to win that game outright.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our poll question and answer and what everybody in the chat picked for the day, and then we'll give our best bets and get out of here. I do want to just mention too, really quick, we will have a special that will be dropped either tonight or tomorrow, so look out for that. Our good friend Ed Fang will join us from the Power Rank. I call him a quarterback guru because that's really what he studies. So we're going to look into the teams that we should see in the playoffs for the NFL, and then we'll look at the teams that we have for college football playoffs as well. So look out for that special. Myself, Chris Andrews, and Ed Fang coming to you shortly. All right, to the hockey poll and then to the hockey best bets.
Yeah, so our poll today was at or over the hill. Which road dog in the NHL will reach the 40-point plateau today? The Penguins getting plus 105 in Toronto, taking on the Maple Leafs. They are currently at 39 points, and they're facing a Maple Leafs team that has lost 3 straight. We also gave you the Sabres getting plus 130 on the road in Ottawa, taking on the Senators. The Sabres are at 38 points, so if they get the win, they will be at 40, but they're going against a Senators team that has won 4 straight games. And then the final option for you guys was the big underdog on the board today, the Utah Mammoth getting plus 210 in Colorado, taking on the Avalanche. The Mammoth are at 39 points, so really an overtime loss will get you to that 40-point, and they're facing an Avalanche team that has won 5 consecutive games. So it's a tall task to beat the Avalanche, regardless of how many games they've won in a row. But yeah, so our viewers, 62% of them going with the Penguins to get to at least 40 points with at least an overtime loss tonight against the Maple Leafs, who are absolutely struggling.
Yes, they are. I think they might be one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference right now at this point. It is Skinner versus Joseph Wall, and Joseph Wall has been better since coming back, so it's a little bit of a positive for the Maple Leafs tonight, but it is 6.5. I was going to say lean to the over, but I thought it was 6.
There are 6s.
There are 6s? Okay.
Yeah, 6 over 20. There's a 6.5 under 30. But yeah, looks like majority. There's a 6.5 over or 6 over 15. But here at the South Point, it's a 6 over 20.
Okay, 6 over 15. Not a bad number there at all. All right, Ryan, is your whiteboard ready, or you need a second?
I need a second.
Okay, I do as well.
Okay.
So
I can read the ticker trivia for you guys while Alex gets her whiteboard ready.
Perfect.
All right. Well, ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, available at Lee's Discount Liquor, Total Wine, and here at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Again, Legends Edition bottle available for our players here on property. But it was a football question for you guys today on this date in sports history, December 23rd, 1972. One of the most famous plays in NFL history, known as the Immaculate Reception, took place at the end of the Steelers' 13-7 comeback over the then Oakland Raiders. Question was, which sportscaster was the very first to use the now famous name for that play on air, the Immaculate Reception? The voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers at the time, Myron Cope, was the first one to use the Immaculate Reception phrase during his evening sports broadcast the night of the Steelers' victory, December 23rd, 1972. The origin of the phrase is credited to local Steelers fan Michael Ord, who attended the game in Pittsburgh and coined it at a local bar after the game. Ord's girlfriend at the time called Cope prior to the broadcast to suggest he use it on air to describe the play, and obviously the rest is history. JR did answer Jack Fleming, but our guy Vince has given us a note of while Fleming was on the live call of the game, Cope was the first one to use the actual phrase of Immaculate Reception on the broadcast.
Very interesting.
Myron Cope was your answer there.
I saw JR also jumped in and said bear down.
That he did.
So he might be with Matt on that one. But yours is probably an emotional bet. So I might be all alone over here. Okay, here we go. I'll go my best bets, and then I will throw it over to Ryan for his. So 3 totals for hockey today. And I'm sorry about my college basketball total yesterday. I didn't know. And I have to bump Illinois up on the defensive side because they did their job offensively. Missouri was unable to score against them. First time being held under 60. They didn't even get to 50. Okay, let's go to today's best bet. Turning the page, I did get Tampa Bay puck line yesterday, so hopefully the hockey keeps it going. I'm going with the UNLV Rebels -6.5. I do think Parker Navarro is a very good quarterback on the other side, but what I have seen from Calandria and this UNLV team that is all fired up to be playing in this bowl game, interim head coach on the other side as well. Going with 3 totals here. I'm going with the Rangers in Washington under 5.5. Probably one of my favorite plays on the board. Shesterkin versus Logan Thompson. Capitals have been struggling offensively as of late, and the Rangers have struggled all season. So give me under 5.5. I'm going with under 6 between the Devils and the Islanders. After watching New Jersey in person against the Knights, I had to really adjust my total for them. So now I made this 5.5 between the Devils and the Islanders. It will not be Sorokin. It will be David Rittich for the Islanders, but still, his numbers, he's 7-3-2 on the year, 254 goals against, and a .907 save percentage. So I think the defenseman in front of him can help get this one done. So under 6. And then I'm going with an over. Calgary and Edmonton. The Flames have been scoring as of late, and I think they can get a couple here in this one. We do not have Tristan Jarry, who is dealing with a concussion. I can't remember who is going to be our starting goalie here, but will not be Tristan Jarry. We are going with a backup. Oh, it will be Connor Ingram for the Oilers, Dustin Wolf on the other side for the Flames. So give me over 6. I think we're going to get a lot of goals in this matchup here. All right, to Ryan for his best bets on this Tuesday, December 23rd.
Well, the only game involved on my board is in Minnesota, involving the Nashville Predators and the Minnesota Wild. And I'm taking the Wild minus the puck and a half, getting plus 140 here at the South Point against the Preds. The Preds have won 2 straight, but again, they are one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. And the Wild just came off of a beating against the Colorado Avalanche. So this team's coming back home, wants to feel good going into the holiday break. I think they win by at least 2 goals here against the Preds. And then I've got some NFL plays for you guys today. So, going with the Texans on the money line against the Chargers in LA. Going with the Bills minus the 2 now against the Eagles. And then a teaser. Going to find a middle there with the Bears keeping it a 1-score game plus the 9. Sorry to do that. But Giants plus the 7 here in Las Vegas. Bears plus the 9. And then the Rams getting it done on Monday night, which Alex will break down more for you next Monday. But Rams -2 there on the teaser.
Feels like a pretty good number there for the Rams in a bounce back spot against a Falcons team that, yes, they're playing for their jobs, but that's about it. And the Rams, everything in front of them. All right. And I like that Minnesota Wild, of course, because we have been backing them since they have been one of the hotter teams in the league. Not as hot as Colorado, though, who was trying to get to, 60 points, Vince said?
Yeah.
Why these other, we're trying to see who's going to get to 40 before the break. All right. Well, that's it for us for today. Again, check for the special that will be out shortly. We'll also have clips. So follow our social media where you can see our future matchups that we're looking at, AFC, NFC, and the CFP playoffs. For Ryan McCormick, thank you to the crew, as always, who gets us live on YouTube each and every day. We'll be back tomorrow live at 10 a.m. here at the South Point studio at the South Point Hotel and Casino. For Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. Thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe. This is Sports by the Book.